Good afternoon, Check SoCal 2 for Forza, and time for next round of track guides here in our heading into the second week, rounds 3 and 4. Oh, I can't do math in my head this morning. In this 2021 Hyundai Elantra touring car. First race up, I think, is going to be Branch Hatch GP. The other one is Catalunya National. So, you know, for format today, it's kind of what I tried last week, and again, it's still dealing with video on demand issues where Twitch doesn't save them quite right on occasion. I think it is rebooting the Xbox. It seems to work, though. I'm kind of going the nuclear option and doing the full reset on the Xbox and on my router, and let's hopefully that goes through. But also because it seems to not like stopping and starting streams as well. It's probably best. I want to try and do both of these in one go round, and if the VOD saves, I can always take care of separating them out for the YouTube upload. But anyhow, that's a lot of explanations. So let me just kind of start over. Hey, good afternoon, Shaggy SoCal 2 for Forza, and we're going to do the track guides for Brands Hatch and for Catalunya. Standard format on these. So I'm going to go out. I'm going to start at Brands Hatch. So I'm going to go out, run a couple of laps, just to kind of refamiliarize my brain with the circuit. Then I'll do kind of a track walk on just kind of how I'm approaching it. What am I looking for? What does the car seem to like? What things can you get away with? What things may be a risk? And then I want to validate kind of what I think the race length will be, because that'll dictate tire strategy, or at least how many stops. So I'll run a mock race against the AI. It also gives me an opportunity to practice my questionable racecraft. So at that point, I'll just take a slight pause on camera and kind of reset up, and then I'll do the same thing for Catalunya. But let's go ahead and get started. I'm here at Brands Hatch. I'm ready to go. I've got medium tires with half tank of fuel. Let's go run a few laps. Brands Hatch is a tricky circuit, and nice classic natural terrain road course. So a lot of these corners, a lot of the straights, there's not a lot of extra runoff. So you got to be very careful with the car. You don't want to drop tires. There could be a little bit more on the brakes there. And the hill, Grand Hill Bend. Take that out. For an outlap, that's about best to take that turn. Weird one. Usually that's the line I take when I'm still trying to sort things out. It might evolve as I put laps in and kind of get into the flow of things. There's a little bit more curving there. This is another one of the ones I really just... Whoa! Sheen is another one of those corners I struggle with a little bit for consistency, but I'll talk about that when we get into the kind of the track walk of what I'm trying to do, and who knows, maybe I'll eventually figure it out. It's a little off the apex. All right, let's just do one more. Let's see if I can put a semi-decent looking lap together. It's a bit early on the brakes, but I'd rather be a little slow in and not risk going off the circuit. A little quicker. Still a little bit late for that. It's just not, I don't have a really consistent marker there for that one. A little shallow, but I have my reasons. And again, I can't talk about it at the same time. So again, demonstration of why, you know, you want to use as much of the track as possible, but you really got to be careful when you're getting close to the edge, especially on turn in. But let's do the track walk and kind of talk through things here. So heading down the front straight, up to fifth gear. What I'm going to be looking for the braking is I'm actually looking for the 2 board, or the 2 hash mark or whatever. I don't know why they just don't put numbers there, but you know, that's the British. I shouldn't say that because I think they do put numbered boards at Silverstone. But yeah, I'm using, I think for me, spotting that is the easiest thing for me to, you know, is what I'm kind of going off of for the braking. Getting down towards start finish, you know, it's just past the Armco here that, you know, kind of separates pit exit. So I know that the Armco, it's a little right before it, so I can spot that, you know, back further as I'm coming, you know, down the front straightaway. The sooner I can spot that, then I kind of get that peripherally. Okay, I know where that's at. I know that I'm braking slightly past it. Then it's easier to spot that. Then I'm not having to try and look for that the whole way down the front straightaway. So it's just finding the key things, you know, that I can kind of mark in my brain of where they're at, so that I can get the braking right for turn 1. Paddock Hill Bend. So I'm still experimenting with the line here because if you notice, even if I start braking here before you get in, even before you like dive down into Paddock Hill Bend, you know, it does start to already turn, and you're kind of just coming off the brakes at that point. So give yourself, and this I'll be exploring this, you know, as I run laps, and we'll find out what's most comfortable. But what I'm trying to do is when I'm getting on the brakes here, I don't want to brake necessarily straight along the side here, with the left side of the course, because if I do that, by the time by the time I'm getting off the brakes, the road's starting to turn. So now I'm way wide, and if I don't get, and if I've missed it slightly or like that, all of a sudden I'm off, and then it's grass and immediately into gravel. So what I might try to start doing is, and again, we'll see how well I do it, is when I get to the braking here, is if I can actually point the car in a little bit towards the center line, you know, that kind of denotes, you know, the pit lane out. Uh, that's where, if I can do that, I'm in fifth gear down to fourth, down to third, and maybe have it, you know, close to the line there. I'm not trying to get all the way into pit in because I still want to try and open this corner up a bit, on entry. But I figure if I do that, that gives me a little bit of a safety margin on the left side so that I don't go wide. I mean, you do have a little bit of a runoff, but you know, depending on conditions and like that, it's pretty easy then, you know, to put the left sides off track, and then you start losing grip, and then you just go off early. Um, that's what I'm trying to do. Releasing the brake and really, you know, getting into the corner is going to be somewhere past the blend line here for pit out. So down to third, I might bring the car back out slightly, but then I'm going to try in third gear, get it into Paddock Hill Bend. You can kind of see the tire marks in the curbing where people are getting the right sides on. That's fine. Down in, accelerate out. Third gear up to fourth. If you want to use the runoff here, that's fine. The curbing here, not too terrible. And again, and it's nice to be in a car that doesn't, you know, have a, you know, throw a fit when it hits the curbs in most cases. Heading up the hill, whoops, torque steer. Third gear, maybe fourth gear. What I'm looking for, depending on the tire compound, I think the pedestrian bridge is a little too late for me to get the car slowed down, or maybe I'm just not, you know, jamming on the brakes hard enough. But usually I'm looking for, and this will be a common theme here, I'm looking for the kind of the orange painted end cap here on this Armco barrier. That's what I'm looking for. As I'm passing that, that's when I'm getting on the binders. Brakes down to second gear for druids. This one, and I think just this is what my brain is telling me how to drive this car, and we'll see how well I do with that, and if it's actually the right thing to do, because it's a touring car, but it is front wheel drive, and I think my general philosophy on that is in slower corners, for me, I think it's better get the braking done, get the car rotated so that I can take as straight of an angle out of the corner as possible. Because again, front wheel drive, it doesn't like turning and accelerating at the same time. The second I really commit back to throttle, the car's going to push. So the less steering I have when I'm getting back to full throttle and the straighter the car is out, hopefully, that translates. I can get on the power maybe a little bit sooner, carry a little bit more speed out, and have a little bit more speed down for the braking for the next one, for the next braking. That's the general philosophy. We'll see how well I do it. So my entry. So long story short, my entry into Druids, I'm going to be a little bit probably mid-track wide. I'm going to be aiming to late apex, and what I'm looking for in the curbing. I mean, you can see tire tracks where everybody's done various lines through there. But if you notice the little dirt that's off here late, so this is about where I want to get the car to the curbing. That's about as late as I want to take it. Coming out, then I can see some of I think the orange cap on the end of the tires there. Roll back into the throttle, let the car come out. Second gear, maybe get on the curbing a little bit. Third gear, heading down to Graham Hill Bend. This is one of these tricky setups because you don't get a lot of time to get the car straight and set before you have to turn in. So I'm trying to get the car back over as soon as I can so I can get it straightened out. So by the time I'm passing the one board, now maybe on the soft compound or the medium compound, maybe I can brake a little bit later. But generally, as I'm passing that one board, I want to try and have the car to the right side and have as much steering dialed out as possible. If I can get it straight here, great. We'll see how my exit is, how if I get over late. But the last thing I want to do is I don't want to be in a position where I'm trying to brake and get the car to turn, because again, the car doesn't like doing two things at once. It doesn't like braking and turning, it doesn't like accelerating and turning. It can do them all fine individually. But if I have it here, it's, quick brake, third gear, into the corner. I'm going to use as much of this inside curve as I can, accelerate out, and I'm going to get two tires on the curbing here, and then bring it back across. Now I can bring it back across the curbing. If you want to wait a little bit longer, you can bring it across later where it's smoothed out. But that's third gear, fourth gear, maybe. Heading down to, I think this is Surtees. This is one of those where I'm talking about front wheel drive and how I'm approaching the corner. For me, I'm going to start braking as I get to the one board. Torque. Down to third gear, and again, my short-term memory is shot. Again, when I get in the flow of things, I'm not always consciously thinking about what gear I'm in. It's more about what the car's doing. So down here again, for front wheel drive, my tendency is I'm probably going to brake in a straight line and try and get my braking done before I get to the outside curbing. I might point it slightly to the left just to give myself a little wiggle room on the outside. But for me, it'd be brake, release. And then I'm going to hold it wide. And what I'm aiming for is, for me, the apex, you can see, or if you see the inside curbing, you see the narrow strip, and then you can see partway through that's got the extra little bit behind it. I'm actually aiming to apex past where the extra bit ends. So that to me, it's a little bit later in the corner. So I'm going to turn it in, and the blend line here that's across the timing line. I would say if you can get in a rhythm where maybe you're crossing that line with the car to the inside, this is, I think, good. Again, this is one I'm still trying to sort some of this out, and then usually as I do the test race, I'll figure a couple of I might get a little more consistent, or I might change this slightly. But generally, I want to try and get to the car to the inside late in the corner. So second gear here, and then roll it out, cresting the hill, third gear, fourth gear. Try to stay off the curbing if you can. As the road kind of kinks to the right, I just kind of let the car just drift to the left-hand side. And this is where, again, I know the turn names on the front half of the course, but not so much on the back half. What is this, Hawthorne? Yeah. So heading down to Hawthorne, any gotta say, every time I go through Hawthorne, a few years ago, back Forza 6, there was like I think there was a one of the monthly rivals they had. It was the uh, the Corvette Daytona prototype here at Brands Hatch, and I think Ali Tak was doing his Saturday stream, and he was doing some rival stuff, and he's like, "Oh, I need somebody to go chase after like that. That's about this time." Well, I think the time he is wanting to chase is kind of where I had set mine. So he was like, "Okay, yeah, yeah, Shaggy, I'll chase your ghost." So he gets in, but before he does, he has to watch my lap just to kind of see what I'm doing. And so again, long story short, just during that broadcast, when we got to Hawthorne, I'll admit I hit Hawthorne in that car about as perfectly as I think you can do, but to the point where Ollie recognized that, loved where I apexed, actually went into photo mode in that replay to actually highlight that, zoom in on that, because you just get the inside tires on the curbing. He's like, now I sucked the rest of the lap. I had problems in the back half, but anytime I'm coming into Hawthorne, I always remember Ollie, just spending a little time just complimenting me on my apex here at Hawthorne. So, how do I do that apex? You may ask. In this touring car, I'm using the orange end cap here on the Armco, as my reference there. Fifth gear at this point. I'm going to hit the brakes, bring it down to fourth. Ideally, I want to try and carry Hawthorne in fourth. If I've made a mistake and I've got to drop another gear, third isn't horrible, but I kind of like fourth because I just feel like the car it's a little bit freer. I can carry more speed through, but it is brake brake brake, and this is another late apexer, even if it wasn't front wheel drive. But in fourth gear, just going to start bringing the car across late. The apex I'm looking for is, and I'm way off of it now, but it is right about in here. You can kind of see where, in the game where the grass is worn, where, virtual cars have ripped away the virtual grass from the inside of the virtual corner. But it's generally, you want to get to the inside late, because again, this is one of these, the exit, if you apex too early, the exit does kind of crest a hill. It will shoot you off to the left side if you're not expecting it. But again, we'll see how well I do with my apexes there. Fourth gear, let the car come out. Down two, and this is again where I don't remember all the names of the corners, and I can't do two things at once. Yeah, so we're on Derby. So Westfield. So it's Westfield, Dingledale, Sheens, Sterling's, and then I'm kind of back to home. I don't have, with me, the way I approach these next couple of corners, again, these next couple aren't my strong suit. I kind of have that sense of, I think I know what I need to do, but it's the consistency in doing it. Setting up here for Westfield, it's the one board is too late, and I wish there was something a little bit further up, toward closer to me on the left side, because it is the kind of that orange Armco on the right side, the color part of the barrier that it's there, but no later than the one board. So let me get a little closer to it. So fourth gear, as that goes out of range, you can see I'm still a little bit off from the one board there. I'm a little bit past the two board, but it's like when that one goes out of view, I should be getting onto the brakes, especially on the harder compound. Brake, 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 down to third. And then when I release and turn in, ultimately what I'm trying to do is abuse all this inside curbing as I can. Roll out, maybe use a little bit of the exit. If I do it poorly, worn tires especially, you'll probably get off in the exit there. And then we head down into Dingledale, and we're going to head to one of the other turns that is just, it's one I'm still, for as many laps as I've done here in Forza over the years, it's still one that I don't, at some point I'm going to go off. But it is heading up to Sheens. And the hard part with Sheens is it is this questing right-hander. It's a cresting right-hander. It's a little off camber. And the way you have to approach, you're coming out of a corner to set up for it. It's very fast. If you get the line wrong setting up for it, you're going to drop tires on the left side and you're going to go off. If you carry too much speed through, then you're going to go wide on exit and you're going to go off. And there's a lot of runoff, but it's all grass and gravel. So here's what you'll probably see for me in the opening laps is I'm going to probably take Sheehan's very shallow until I kind of get into rhythm and kind of get comfortable and inch my way out for the entry. So, but here's generally what I'm looking for. So I'm coming up through Dingledale, coming up towards Sheehan's, and the angle that this, if I can get to the car to the inside here, this is the other thing I've been working on. If I can get the angle out and have it go kind of straight out with a slight right hand towards the top, that I think can put me out wide enough where I don't risk going off on the left side. But generally, as I'm coming, whoops, first gear, as I'm coming up the hill again, passing another orange Armco, that's going to be where I'm braking, and this is where I'll probably be shallow because early on I'll probably keep it mid-track. You can tell, you can see the tire marks are like that say I should be out wider, and I will readily admit I would love to be able to figure out how to be out there consistently, but usually it's going to take me probably half the race to figure that out, or to kind of get into that flow state where I can do that. But if you can get to mid-track, let's see, fourth gear, I'm going to bring it down to third, set up, and try to take as much of this inside curve as possible. On the way out, I want to keep it neat and tidy. I want to really stay off. There is no exit curving to help you out on the left side. So it is very, so again, give yourself room and just be ready. Because if you do drop, the nice thing, it's a front wheel drive car. If you do drop the right rear off and it starts to step the car out, it is front wheel drive. You just got to hit the gas and let the front of the car pull the back out of the slide. So I think it's a saving grace. Most of, like, if we were here in the Alpha from last season, dropping tires here would just instantly pitch the car sideways and send you into the right side wall. But try to give yourself a little room. Bring the car back across, and then which one is this? This Sterling? Yeah. I bring the car back across. What I'm looking for is actually the tree that is right underneath my rearview mirror there. That tree is my braking marker. It's easy to spot. I get to it, hit the brakes, third gear still, ideally third gear in, try to get the car to the curbing, roll out, second gear, third gear, fourth gear, down clearways, and finally into, not clearways, no wait, this is where I always get it confused. This is Clark Curve. It's Surtees, the left-hander. Yes. Yeah, I was right. I am learning. I can be taught. It's coming down clearways, final corner here, Clark Curve. I'm using, for me right now, I'm using the 3 Pro Rata signs on the right side. So like when I pass the final one, that's about where I need to brake. Brake, down to third gear, and try to get the car to the curbing and roll back into the throttle. Stay off. Don't flirt with the outside if you can help it. And then you're on the front straightaway, and that is a lap of Brands Hatch. Wonderful circuit. Love the elevation change. It's got a really nice flow to it. So that's the lap there. So tell you what, let's go ahead and set up for, let's set up the mock race so I can show you just how wonderful of a driver I am. But I do need to practice, and it's always nice to have a little bit of traffic. Go ahead and quit race. And we'll go to advanced setup. It's going to make me choose the car. Nope, that wrong one. There we go. Hyundai, Elantra. Okay. Go ahead and load saved options. Okay, so we're going to double check a couple of things here. Yeah, so kind of based off my own testing, I'm going to guess it's going to be 17 laps, give or take a lap or 2. No more than give or take 2, but it's probably going to be 17, maybe 18 laps. So starting time of day, yes, we'll do random, rolling. We'll see what they give for random weather, but I'm not running in the rain if I can help it. Then me, I think we're fine there. I'll have a 10-second delay behind the rest of the drivatars. That makes me start in the back. And they're going to have... Oh, hang on. Yeah, I need to do that. I want them to give each other a half second. I think that'll keep them... That'll spread them out just enough where they're not hugely bunching up in turn one. And hopefully I've got the PI. I've lowered the PI a little bit on the top end. Yeah, I want some traffic to race through. I don't want this to be a glorified hot lapping session. So I'm going to try and get as much traffic in there as possible. I think that's all good. Again, sport rules. Rear 1.5x tire, standing start, PI. We're not going to put them in ascending order. Mandatory pit stops 1, though I think we're going to need to do this in 2. And all right, let's go ahead and load in. And what do you give us? Forza never change. Of course, I did say, some people would say that I asked, since I said no rain, the universe doesn't understand the negatives. So then it says, oh, you want rain, because that's what you're focusing on. So let's say, can we, no, I don't want to apply wet tires. We'll still do a late afternoon, moderate rain. Yeah, I'll give you another shot, Forza. Can we avoid can we avoid precipitation, please? Overcast dry. All right, I'll take that. Thank you very much. All right, so tire wear. 17 lap race. Again, these are now 60% numbers. I did 70% the week before, and everybody was like, no, that doesn't help us. So 60% when I was doing just kind of static tire testing will hit on laps for soft, medium, hard, laps 5, 7, and 9. I would say on the hard tires, you're going to be, by the end of lap 9, you're going to be mid-60s. If you're on the mediums, you're going to be high 60s at the end of lap 7. And then if you're actually on the softs, the tire's going to hit 60% on lap 5, but it's going to be over 70%, halfway to 80 by the time you finish the lap. So that was like a little surprising there. So yeah, soft tires, I'll say you'll hit 60% on lap 5, but effectively you'll get four effective laps out of them before they start to fall off the cliff. So yeah, even at that, even if you can, if you're a smooth driver, you can squeak an extra lap on the hard and the mediums. It might be a one-stop race, but you are I don't know. It's going to be an interesting one to see where everybody lands on that one, because you're still pushing the mediums almost to 70%. You're going to be going past 70% on the hards, and pit lane might not be. This might be it might be a medium, or it might even be a medium soft. I don't know. So I said I can tell you where they go off. I just can't tell you what strategy to use. So let's just pick one here. Let's say, let's just start in mediums and see what we get. Don't need full fuel. 2 clicks into 18. It's probably a little more than I need, but just in case. We'll start on the mediums and see if we can get 6, 6, 12, 5. Well, let's do 7. Do 7, 7. Let's see if we can get 7 laps out of the mediums, and that'll figure out. It's probably a medium soft. But let's see what I can get out of the on the first stint. All right, too much talking. Let's go race. Yeah. Just get a little swig of coffee. Pardon me, as I drop stuff all over the place. Okay, let's see what we can do. A little more grip than I was ready for. I think I was mentally prepared for the hard tires. A little bit more curving than I want to take on the inside there, but not quite at the apex there. We're going to break a little early because I'm not going to make the dive bomb there, but let's see if I can get a... I don't think I have the draft here on the front straight. Let's see what happens when we get to start finish. Nope, I got him. You're going to fight me on the outside a little bit. That's fine. Front wheel drive car, I would not want to be on the outside of a fast corner necessarily. Felt a little early. Still off a little bit off the apex there. It's a controller thing because I seem to be a little bit more comfortable edging the car out there, whereas on the wheel, but on the controller, I'm scared to death of being too wide there heading into Sheen. Braking, probably not the car's not what it likes to do. Still not quite getting to that curve. And I'm going to miss that. Well, I got a little bit of it. Yeah, that's the danger, just being a little bit too wide, heading up the hill. Be a little bit smarter about that one. This is why we practice. Starting to wonder if I could do that in fourth, or if that's gonna relax the car too much where it just starts going wide. But try that next lap if I remember. Room on the outside. Didn't get enough braking in, so the back end started to float around a little bit. It might be better. That's the shallow line that usually I take initially, just in case I'm a little I'm hesitant on I don't know if I've got the right line into that to set up for the braking. Ground tires. Take a look into druids. Kind of an optimistic move on my part. Glad I was able to at least get my nose out of the way. How about I'll take that one? A little bit of a run down to Hawthorne. I'm going to take another look. Probably not. If I was a little bit more alongside of the braking, I would have probably taken the shot, but I'm kind of stuck. Let's back off a little bit, give a little space, see if I can get another run. I'm not going to make this mistake again. Set up for clearways, and maybe get the job done at Clark. Probably not. That was a bad exit on my part. Again, it's going to be one of those I want to get there just as time for braking. Have a really bad exit, but then at least gives me a little bit of a gap now. I can kind of work on timing that run. Let's see if I can get him into Druids. A little too far back. One here, you gotta give me a room. A little room for him. I'll try and be somewhat polite. Where are we at on tires? Oh, I should pit this lap. A little bit closer to the edge than I would have liked, but get in, thankfully, is straight in. No need to dodge tires. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna go another round on the mediums. And I think for this one I'll do 6 laps. So I'll go to lap 13, then I'll do 4 laps on the softs. To the right side until you get past the blend line. Brake right at the end, right at the start of the curbing. That at least will keep you to the inside in case you're coming out in traffic. And then just kind of merge back onto the racing line as you can. And back to being DFL, so let's try and make the most of the clear traffic and see if we can undercut a few more cars, or at least get a little further up the grid. A bit late. Yeah, 4th gear can work. It's just because you're not getting the help from engine braking because you're in a higher gear. The car's probably going to understeer a little bit more on the way out. So 3rd or 4th driver preference. string of cars ahead of me. Hopefully they race each other so I can catch up. Someone's off. Again, I will compliment Forza on the drive car's behavior on fairly safe rejoins. Keep moving. One of those, like I might turn in third, but then short shift to fourth. That was an early turn in. I have to use a lot of that runoff on the exit to make up for my poor turn in. Trusting the car there. Alright, so heading down Dingledale, I want to apex there, brake, let the car come out. It wasn't perfect, but that's kind of what I'm trying to do. I think I'm going to be close enough on the front straightaway, but let's see. Again, already starting to think about where I'm going to try and pass dead bits here. Definitely not here, but how good of a run do I get up the hill to Druids? Nope, not going to be close enough. Let's just keep chipping away at the gap. And again, we're getting into traffic, so at this point, I would say it's probably going to be heading into Hawthorne is where I might be able to get dead bits. And who knows, maybe one or two others, depending what they do. So it's just important to get a good run out of here. Yeah, definitely going to have the run here. Stay to that side. I'll take this side. And I will outbrake you into the next corner. So, Baker Boy. At this point, I'm going to look to set up, head down clearways into Clark. So, I mean, I'm always going to look for openings, but just as far as planning, you got a much better exit. So, nope, that's not going to work. And heading onto the front straightaway. It'll be how close can I get out of Paddock Hill Bend? Can I set something up in Druids? Alright, nothing for Druids, so now again, reset. We'll set up. Don't think I can put a oh, well, he might give me an opening on hey, a fellow sponsoring teammate here. Next 7 up yours. Well, you know, it's a touring car. We need to have a little bit of fender banging here. Gotta say though, that 7-Up livery is a lot nicer than mine is. But yeah, we're gonna pit on this lap, and we will do we'll do a 4-lap run on the softs, and see. I think on the next race I'm gonna play with the with my delay. 10 seconds might be a little bit too far back. Let's see where we end up. A little wide. Okay. All right, we'll go to the soft tires to the end. See if we can salvage a decent finish. Nova got a really wide out of the, or really slow out of Paddock Hill Bend. I lost track of where I was going to need to brake, but that's fine. I got a tire advantage, I think. But won't be able to take advantage of that if I don't get the right gearing out of the corner. So, not going to be close enough for Hawthorne, though I will just take a peek. And do I force something here? No. At this point, it is about getting that good run out of this corner. Hopefully, can't seem to get that one right at speed. The run now, so I'm definitely taking a shot here in the Paddock Hill. Soft tires, so I can afford to brake a smidgen later and get the pass done. Let's see if we can catch Greenland here. It's probably the best I've taken that all race. I've been a little early, but Too much speed into the corner. So I guess fourth gear will work.
Final lap.
Again, lost my reference because I wasn't paying attention. But I think we can get agreement here. Especially if I loosen them up like that. You know, of all the cars I've hit, I seem to have hit the other 7-up cars. All right, not going to have a shot here. But let's just get a really good run. Not like that. It's going to be close. I am going to take a peek. But yeah, I'm not close enough. Tire wear, good to know, thank you. Alright, can I get out of this corner nicely this time? I had to take a look there because there's just not enough. I won't have enough momentum on the front straight to get by him, but good race. So how long did this race take? Just so I can get a quick screenshot of that. 20. Okay, so at 28 minutes, that's actually a little bit quicker than I thought. So yeah, it's probably going to be 18 laps then, I think. Maybe 19. Because even like if I add 28, 29, well, yeah, 18 laps is probably what it should be. So that is the race. Oh, okay, wifey's on the way home. That's nice to know. Excuse me. But yeah, that's Brands Hatch here in the Hyundai Elantra. So yeah, expect maybe an 18-lap race on Thursday. So nicely done, Max, Mr. Blazer, and USMC 2011 LSG on your podium. So that is the track guide for Brands Hatch. So normally, if Twitch was behaving nicely and playing nicely with the Xbox, I would stop and start a new stream, but I'm not going to be able to do that. So I'm just going to say happy racing for now as an outro. Hopefully, when I upload this to YouTube, and let's start the next one.